All right, former President Donald Trump was in Atlanta today for a fundraiser. He was asked by reporters about the election interference case and Fani Willis. Here's what he said.
Well, I think that case has been totally discredited. It was a money-making scheme on behalf of her and her lover, Wade, Mr. and Mrs. Wade. And I think the case has been totally discredited, I would hope. It seems to be. And we'll see how that, and the one in New York is totally discredited. Every legal scholar said they have no case. It's a horrible thing, but it's election interference.
Fani, in full get Trump mode, is asking the appeals court to deny the former president's request to overturn Judge McAfee's earlier decision to allow her to remain on the case. Meanwhile, Fani Willis may be in some additional legal trouble. According to a new report, the DOJ has now uncovered inconsistencies in Willis's use of federal grant money. And in Washington, well, Chairman of the House Judiciary Committee and James Comer of the Oversight Committee, they have threatened to hold Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress after the DOJ refused to turn over subpoenaed recordings of special counsel Hur's interview with Joe Biden. Here now with more, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan. Let's start with that last part first. Merrick Garland had till noon on Monday to turn over the interview, the transcripts, the videos, whatever they had, of Robert Hur's interview with Joe Biden. He failed to comply with it. A guy by the name of Peter Navarro is now spending 4 months in prison for contempt of Congress.
Yeah, so never forget the facts here. Robert Hur's report said that Joe Biden knowingly kept and disclosed classified information. He said that the reason he did that, at page 231, Joe Biden had strong motivations to ignore classified procedures because he was writing a book for which he got paid $8 million. So we have motive, 8 million reasons why. We have motive. We have the elements of the crime being met. He knew the facts. He disclosed it, and he kept that information. But he doesn't get charged because Robert Hur says he's a forgetful old man. So we think it's incumbent upon the Justice Department to give us all that evidence. We would like to hear the audio tapes. And frankly, I think the American people would like to know here 6 months before the most important election we have, who's going to be our next commander-in-chief.
It's beyond that, because Robert Hur did say that Joe Biden willfully withheld these documents. They were found, you know, in what? Really 8 separate locations, but multiple locations within one location, depending on how you count it, that's fine. But didn't that report also say that Joe Biden told the ghostwriter, hey, I found some new materials down in my basement. Let me read it to you. Did that guy have a security clearance to have top secret information read to him by the former vice president?
And by the way, that same guy, we want to depose him too. We've asked for that. And that same guy tried to destroy the evidence after he found out a special counsel had been named. So yeah, Joe Biden met the elements of the crime. Joe Biden, we have motive. But he's not charged because he's a forgetful old man. But what's interesting here, Sean, is in the last 3 presidential elections, there's only been 3 candidates: Hillary Clinton, President Trump, and President Biden. All 3 had concerns. Concerns were raised about how they dealt with classified information. But only one is being charged. Joe Biden wasn't charged. Hillary Clinton wasn't charged, even though she destroyed 30,000 emails, for goodness sake, and was sending classified information over an unsecure server. She's not charged. But somehow the one guy who was actually president at the time, he gets charged. That's what so many Americans find wrong, because it is wrong. It's a double standard, and that's not the way it's supposed to work in our great country.
So I talked earlier in my monologue tonight about, you know, how Democrats can't run on their success, or if you're better off than you were 4 years ago, and they're now resorting to, you know, radical rhetoric like Donald Trump's going to kill Americans and bring slavery back and end all abortion in the country. That's because they're desperate. But on the other hand, we've got another issue here. And that is, okay, starting on Monday, you've got this ridiculous case going back to 2015 and 16 involving Stormy Daniels. In that case, the DA in New York, Alvin Bragg, has not even identified what the felony is that they're actually charging Trump with. Clearly, it's a biased judge, a jurisdiction not friendly to Trump, nor would D.C. be one, nor would Fulton County be one. And at what point do we say, wait a minute, This is April. We got an election in November. Why don't we let the American people decide? And how is it that the Biden Department of Justice won't cooperate with you, but they're using every tool at their disposal to use the law to go after Biden's chief opponent?
Yeah.
How do you explain that? What does that say about the country?
That's today's left. Today's left controls the Democrat Party. They use this lawfare to go after their political opponent. But the good news is the American people see through it. President Trump's numbers continue to rise. They know the case in New York with Alvin Bragg. They know Fonnie Willis in Georgia. And they know Jack Smith. Both his cases, whether it's Miami or D.C., are ridiculous. Everyone knows it. It's why he's winning in all 7 of the toss-up states, the states that determine the election. He's winning in Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona. And those are the states that decide this election. So that is the good news, that I think we're going to have Donald Trump back in the White House because the country sees all this for what it is, and they appreciate what they had under President Trump compared to what we've had with Joe Biden.
You know, it's interesting. They arrest him, they mugshot him, they arraign him, they charge him. His poll numbers go up. You have to wonder, if he gets convicted in New York, do his poll numbers go up? So far, he defies all conventional political gravity. It would not shock me. Jim Jordan, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.